We're
Hello,
back.
we're back.
It's me, your girl, at Bexy Reads
And at Livre de Lindsay, which I definitely pronounce wrong every time I say it.
every time. Also, mine's Bexy underscore Reads. I
Oh
forgot
yeah,
about that.
you can't forget about the underscore. Um,
Nope.
so we realized that we're not tech savvy and we couldn't do Instagram Live because we're not popular enough. Um, so we're back on Zoom, YouTube. Um, And we're here to discuss our reread of the second book in the Throne of Glass series, Crown of Midnight. As a starter, spoiler alert for anything in Crown of Midnight, but we're going to not spoiler anything further in the series. So, spoilers for Throne of Glass, obviously, because you had to read that first, and spoilers for Crown of Midnight. So,
Ba-ba-da-ba.
people hate on this book so much, but I loved my reread of it. Like, this is people's least favorite book. Do you know that?
I didn't know that. I honestly thought that people's least favorite book was Tower of Dawn, which I
Well,
can,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I understand to a certain point why it's people's least favorite one. Like it has definitely like interesting parts throughout the book, but as a whole, I think I rated it the second time I read it. I think I rated it 4 stars instead of the usual five. Don't kill me, Sarah.
I think what it is that like there's not too much happening. It's
Hmm.
a lot of like character building though. It's like everybody's kind of on their own path, but like I feel like you're so much in their head more. I gotta say though, I gave Kale a second chance in Throne of Glass. I no, we're back. I don't hate him, but I'm like listen, I don't blame him for Nehemia's death. I think he was an asshole for keeping it from Selena. But even I was just reading like his first chapter and just the way he talks about like Selena being an assassin, and I'm like, bro, you knew what she was. And he was basically saying like he wasn't disgusted by her, but like he didn't know how to process when she was bringing in and like delivering the heads of the people she's killed to the king, and he like couldn't process that. And I'm like, dude, you knew she was an assassin from the beginning.
Yeah.
She wasn't
Like
hiding anything.
you knew exactly who you went into Indovir to get. Like,
Yeah, literally. And then I know it's like a recurring theme for Kale that he like goes back and forth between like, oh my God, like I love this woman and like, oh my God, I'm scared of her. But like you already knew who she was.
I mean, can you blame him though? She's terrifying. Like,
She
oh
is.
my God. When I hold on, I have to look at my notes because I had to write stuff down. So for those of you that have been like following along, probably like 4 people that watched the video, we kind of took a little bit longer to read this book because we had prior obligations. So um I had to actually like pause reading it because I knew I would have finished it way too quick and then had to come back. Like I would have had to remember it. So I wrote a lot of stuff down. But what I found very funny because I'm the funniest person I know. Um, I'm not trying to sound cocky. I just
You
think I'm
are funny.
hilarious. I know, thank you. But one of the notes that I have here is that like it just says something kind of funny going on here, dot, dot, which I think is it's actually like the description for the whole entire book because you don't know what the actual hell is going on. It's like she gets these like little clues and you're like, "Oh, we're going to finally find out." And then you have no clue. And
Yeah.
it's like it's almost like it's like I'm being rage baited, I feel. I'm being gaslit. I'm
Well,
being edged for
also
God's sake.
in the part where like Caltaine is like something is coming, it's like, yeah, I've been feeling that this whole goddamn series. Something's coming, and then they're like, okay, yeah, definitely sense that.
Something wicked this way
And
comes.
then you like don't find out what's happening. It's like, okay, something's
Hmm.
coming, but what
It
is
is.
coming?
And I feel like that's probably one of the reasons why this is like the least favorite one. It's because it just takes forever to figure out what exactly is
Sorry, I'm just gonna
coming.
sneeze.
But like I have like a couple of things obviously that I wrote down. But we find out that Dorian has magic in this book, and it's so exciting. So I don't know if you have like the minis, but and I forgot about this. But each mini is like geared toward a certain character in the book, and their names are like highlighted. Like I don't know if you can see it right here in
Oh my
red.
God, my
So like,
baby.
yeah, this is technically like Dorian's book, and
I see that
I
though. I feel like he
yes,
has the most character growth in this book.
hmm
Rivaling Selena.
rivalry.
Rivalry? He did rivalry? I can't say it. Rivalry?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he has a lot of growth in this book because I think he's starting to I feel like he's starting to not necessarily like disobey his dad, but basically like have his own thoughts of on like the even let's just say like the political world of being a king, and he knows he's next in line, and like what does he have to do, X, Y, and Z. And his cousin Roland comes to visit, and now they're talking about the slaves in Calcutta and like what they can do, or Calicut, Calcutta,
Calcutta.
Mo-
Calico critter.
wherever it is. But like, and how there's probably going to be an uprising and this, that, and the other thing, and how to control that. And he's like, you know what? I don't think we're doing the right thing here. So it's almost like he's starting. It sounds so like cliche, but he's like starting to grow up. The little
Well,
baby's
if
grown
you
up.
think about it in this book, he is essentially on his own.
Hmm
Because Selena is keeping him at an arm's length purposely. And then in that, like she's with Kale and they're training together all the time. And I feel like Kale kind of doesn't interact with Dorian like at all in this book,
hmm
really, until the end. And
It's
then
true.
when he sees them dancing together and Nehemia comes up to him and says, like, they will never know what it's like to be like you and me. I feel like he wants to, like, well, he does, like, he wants to find out more from Nehemia. But she's also has having her own things going on too. So he's like truly alone to figure things out. And then when he does have that moment, when he senses his powers for the first time, I'm both like, "Oh my God, Dorian," and I'm like, "Oh my God, Dorian, like you're having this like moment and you don't have anybody really who can help guide you through it."
And then, of course, the one person that he would have gotten answers from, may she rest in the sweetest of
Ugh.
peace, my girl.
Okay. We didn't talk about her too much of Throne and Glass, and I know that we said like, okay, we want to talk about her more.
Hmm
What are our thoughts on Nehemia?
Um, I feel like when I read Throne of Glass the second time around, so I'm gonna try not to reference the first time around because I do not like. I remember her from the first book, but I barely like, or the first time I read, I just barely remember
You like
like,
remember that she died.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like I don't remember the. It sounds so bad. I didn't really remember like her importance. I just remember her being like a friend of Selena. But I think doing the reread and like getting like reintroduced to her, I was like, all right, like she's a great friend to Selena. And but then you can tell that like they're both keeping secrets from each other. And it's like, all right, is she really like a good friend? Like, what's going on here? There's something, see, this is what I'm talking about. Something kind of
Something
funny
I
is
was
going
just
on.
thinking something funny going on in this friendship as well.
Yeah. And then I also forgot how early into the book, I know it's not like chapter three, but like I forgot how early in the book she actually does that. Like
Yeah.
oh my God. And then it was like I couldn't remember why we were mad at Kale. And then obviously like reading the book, I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember. So it's
Well,
like, go
when
ahead.
we were, so Becky and I were together earlier this week, and then she was obviously ahead of me in reading, and I was reading on the train, and I remember telling Becky, like, oh my God, I remember why we're mad at Kale. Why we're mad at Kale in a situation with Nehemia. I'm mad at him
Hmm
constantly. But then the scene where he's talking with the king and the king says like, "Oh, there's a threat on Nehemia's life. You need
hmm
to keep an eye on her." And he goes, I don't think I need to tell Selena." And then I'm like, as a rereader, I'm like, "Oh, wait, wait, wait. Like this was his part in her death. Like that explains so much because then obviously if I mean, it's all these like what ifs, like if Selena had
Hmm.
known, like could she have stopped it? At the end, we figure out that it's Archer who she was sent out to kill in the first place, who she decides to get information from instead. He's technically the bad guy of this story, and he's the reason why everything happened, and then she forgives Kale, yada yada yada. But I don't know. I I
There was
don't
like a
think
lot of twists and turns in this because you're
yeah.
like, who did this? Like,
Which
and then
I
it,
forgot about too. Because I'm like, it's not Kale's fault, but I could
hmm,
see why she was so mad. Especially because,
yeah,
like, she's blinded by grief. She's blinded by the fact that, like, was just, like, turned in a million different directions.
blinded by love.
So was Kale too. I have to say, Kale was living in a fantasy world. And I know I know he is living in a fantasy world, but like right before that happened, he goes, "Oh my God, I'm gonna ask her to marry me." And then and then Nehemia dies and she flat out tries to kill him. He's like, "Never mind."
He was he that man in that moment was the most scared for his own life he has ever been, which I mean, I don't blame him. I was low-key terrified. I'm not even in the book. I'm just reading along. I'm an outsider and I was scared.
Yeah.
Um, and it's so fun because what I wrote in my notes was that Selena and Kale made sweet passionate love and she was dickmatized.
She was dickmatized, but I don't think they made sweet passionate love.
No, that's just how I wrote it. They
Listen,
um
she was. I remember thinking like when I read that the first time, like they are cute together, and then
mhm,
reading it the second time, I'm like, yeah, I can see how it wasn't gonna work.
yeah.
Especially in that moment, like where they sleep together, and she's like, "This is somebody I could trust," and then he's like, "I'm gonna marry this girl." It's like we're thinking two different things, you know?
Two different paths, my guy.
No, exactly, and that's the thing though, that they're always gonna be on two separate paths.
Yes, I fully agree. What about I'm looking through my notes because I'm like,
Your life to be
what did I write? Just because like obviously I remember reading it, but I'm so bad at like remembering points to like talk about.
yeah.
The part that will forever kill me, it doesn't matter how many years have gone by, how many times I've reread this book, it really doesn't matter. But when she sings in that old language, I almost just said it, at her grave, and that's when Kale's like,
Like, how
what
do
that?
you know that song?
Yeah. And then he starts digging, and I'm like, I
Well,
promise you, my
that's the
guy, you
whole
do not
second
want to
half of
do
the
that.
book. Yeah, the whole second half of the book is like Kale, like because they don't really interact because she's fucking pissed at him.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Rightfully so.
I don't know if I could say that on YouTube, but he's like, wait a minute, like you're right, like that's the moment where he says it before that he knows that she's hiding something about who she is, and then
Hmm.
that's kind of the trigger. Like, wait, I'm gonna look into this.
Yep.
So in my first read, I knew that Selena was Aelin because I had read ACOTAR first. And
Oh,
so I was on like book talk before I read Throne of Glass, and I knew that Aelin was the main character. So starting Throne of Glass, I was like, who's this Selena chick? I know that Aelin is the main character. And then like in Throne of Glass, I was like, oh yeah, like this is Aelin. So I knew it was coming, but the Kale finding out, and also Selena like figuring out too that she's gonna be coming back into herself is just like ugh, so good.
I feel like Sarah's really good at like intertwining like the mystery behind things and like leaving it as like an open-ended question. But what I mean, to be fair, and I don't know if I know I've definitely said this to you like in person. I am a very in the moment type of reader. Like I am not picking up hints anywhere throughout this entire book. So I am shocked, I am gooped, I am gagged every single time. So I can guarantee, I don't remember it, but I can guarantee that first time that I read the book, I was shooketh to the core to
Mhm.
find out that our sweet Selena Sardathian is none other than the lost princess of Terrasen, Aelin Galathynius. And
Aelin
I,
Ashriver
Ash River,
Galactus. Is it Ash River?
yes.
Let's say Ashriver.
Yeesh. Are you also a Rysand person? Because if you
No,
are,
we
get
talked about
out.
this. No. Although I do have a friend, right, who she called, I couldn't say this in the last video when we were talking about pronunciation, but she thought that alien, I mean, she thought she thought that alien was pronounced alien.
Oh, oh my. Um, mhm. Okay, love that.
Shout
Love
out
that journey for
Casa.
us. But yeah, so I mean, to be fair, for those of you that obviously we said this is a spoiler for Crown of Midnight, but you actually do not find out that it's Aelin probably until like the last like 10% of the book. I'm gonna say 10% because
Well, yeah,
I
it's like I'm pretty sure it's like it's not the last chapter, but it's like right.
I think it's
No,
the
no, it is the last page.
no, hold on, because I was looking at it the other day. I know that the last page he figures out who it is, but I think
Yeah.
she says like who she is
Well,
earlier. I'd have to
you
look.
kind of assume, but it's like revealed. So it's
Oh, you're
revealed when
right.
she whispers in his ear she's going to Wenlin. He thinks that he's sending her like away and that they're never gonna see each other again and that like he's
Hmm.
doing the right thing, just sending her away. He knows that she's Fae. So that's like a couple chapters before the end that like it's revealed that she's Fae, and then we're like, okay, like she is not like this is
Not
not
only is she
Selena.
Faye,
Yeah.
she's
So
actually
then
really important.
she whispers in his ear, she's like, "You're gonna hate me, but it'll make sense soon." And then
Hmm.
he's like, "What?" And she whispers the date, and the date is the day 10 years ago that her parents died. And then when he
Yep.
looks up the date in the histories, it says the Galathiniuses were
Galathiniai.
murdered. Galathanyi, if you will, were murdered, blah blah blah. And then it also talks about like the distinctive like ash river
Eyes.
eyes. And he's like, I have looked into those eyes a million times. Not only is Selena Faye and from Terrasen, she is Aelin Ashriver Galathynius, the heir to the Terrasen throne, and I have just sent her to her closest allies.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
good. So good.
That I'm telling you, that reveal at the end really friggin' like I know the second time, like obviously this time around when I was reading it, I was like, oh, like kicking my feet, like, "Ee." um, but the first time I read it, I definitely was like, what the hell? I can't remember it, but I know for a fact that I was definitely shocked by it.
In the grand scheme of things, so we talked about like it being very much a Dorian book, but like I said, like his character development is kind of rivaling Selena's. Do you think that Nehemia needed to die for her to come to the same realization? Or do you think she would have come to the same realization that she needs to be Aelin again?
Mm, that's a good question. I feel like I do believe Nehemia probably did need to die.
Because remember when, so we're not clear on who she's talking about until until, if you know, you know, that when she's talking to, Nehemia's talking to Elena, and she says, like, the boy is not ready, but she's ready to break.
Mm,
So, what if Dorian was ready, though?
mm.
You know?
Uh, oh, how the tables would have been turned.
But it kind of makes it have like more meaning as well because then it's like, okay, so like there's Selena, obviously, who's the main character of the book, but it could have been Dorian. The same as like, you know how like in Harry Potter, spoiler for Harry Potter if you ever read it, where it's like Harry and Neville could have been interchangeable.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think that Dorian and Selena could have been interchangeable, but I do think that Selena was ready to break, and if Nehemia didn't die that she wouldn't have gotten to the point that she needed to be at. I
Definitely
think
not.
that she still would have eventually like gotten to her breaking point, but it wouldn't have been like the rallying cry that she needed.
Hmm.
She probably just would have like left and spent her days, I don't know, in the underbelly of Rifthold or whatever. But I think that
Do
she,
you go ahead?
oh no, I was just gonna say I think that like Nehemia dying like was sort of like the rallying cry that she needed.
I agree. I really think that she needed as much as we hate to see her go, I really do think that that's what she needed, that like fire under her ass. Because
Yeah.
even though she was doing like the bare minimum in the she was just doing enough to get by so that the king wouldn't kill her and whatever for her 5 years to then be free. But in like a follow-up question, I guess, if we didn't know Selena was or Aelin was Fae, essentially, let's just say we didn't know Selena was Fae, do you think she would have ever owned up to being who she was, like who she is?
I don't know. Uh I I don't know that she would have if it wasn't for um like if I mean if you think about it, it's like okay, so like Nehemia died, and that caused her to open um the portal, and then that's how they found out that she was Fae, and I feel like
Hmm.
she probably would have hidden that as much as she could. But I do think eventually, like with everything going on, like I said about how like Nehemia being a rallying cry, I think she
Hmm.
would have eventually done the right thing. But doing the right thing might not necessarily have been her revealing that she's alien. It could have been she could have like continued doing things to help in her own way. I don't know.
Do you think she would have joined the the group, the rallying
I
group?
don't think she would have joined the group. I think she would have done her own
Mm.
thing. Like I don't think that she would have because obviously she knows that they're not in working with Aelin Calathinius and
What?
she's naturally um distrusting. So I think that she would have formed like her own thing. I do think, however, um I think Dorian would have been closer to helping.
Mm.
Like not forming a group, but he was already kind of like going against his father's plans and then realizing his power and realizing how his power put him in danger as well. I think like he could have like if Aelin never admitted like who she was or like
Hmm.
that didn't happen, I think that he would have been closer to being I don't know what the chosen one or whatever.
Chose the cursed child. I'm just kidding. Um, eh. um, I'm excited to see because I genuinely forgot the about like the word keys and the word gates and stuff. So I'm excited to continue to read upon that. Because like I said, I have a horrible memory. It doesn't matter what it is, books, life in general, my memory's trash. So I'm very excited to remember or like find out again what I don't want to say that what the significance is because I remember. It's just very, very like scattered.
Remember.
Stop, that's my fave. But I did again like keep notes. So what I'm doing on my app is or like on my phone is just doing like the Throne of Glass reread, but in the same note doing like the Crown of Midnight so that it's all there and I can just
Yeah.
backtrack, which I love. Um, but then I did write down like that the and this is mentioned in the book, where it says the Valg kings from another realm split a word gate into three keys. The king has one word key at least, and I wrote in per like I because of course I was like I didn't remember all this, so I'm writing it down. Clock tower question mark. Jokes on me. It is not the clock tower. But or maybe it is. I don't remember. But I'm excited to remember and relearn what like that the plot line basically
Yeah.
again. I'm very excited for that
I'm
because I
also
do
getting
have
so excited too.
hmm,
I said I'm also getting so excited too.
yeah. I have friends that are like currently so I have my friend Vanessa has read it like read the books. She recently read them like within the past year or so. And then this other girl, Nicole, that I'm friends with, she's currently tandem reading Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn. So we were chit-chatting today at work, and I'm like, and it's so funny because some of the, and so she'll like say something about like her read right now, and I was like, and she's like, oh, it's just so like sad or whatever, and I'm like, oh, just wait, girlfriend. Um, so you think you're sad now, but
You don't know what
I'm
sad
like,
is.
no. So like we were talking about the book today, and she was like, oh my God, I can't even remember like when I was like, that is, it's not the problem, it's just there's so much jam packed into, and I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah.
So Sarah, don't take this the wrong way. There's
Well,
just so much jam packed that it's like I can't even remember what happened in the last book, let alone
there's
this
so
book.
much, but I feel like in this reread, like I am remembering some things, like
Hmm.
what you said, like the word keys, and when Baba Yellowlegs started explaining, well, one was she started explaining like the word keys, and I was like, oh my God, right, like that's what these books are about.
Yep.
But also when she starts mentioning like stuff about like the witch clans and stuff, I'm like,
Yes.
Sarah, you had this all like. I mean, we're not gonna like spoil things, but obviously like the witches will play like a bigger role in the series, and like when she starts talking about the clans, it is such a perfect setup.
Yes. You can tell just by the way that she starts like talking about things. They like I feel like that like it's one of these things, and I can say it about like a different series. And I'm not gonna like mention the name of the series, but it's one of those, like it's a contemporary romance, but it's like halfway through the series you meet like all these other couples, and you're like, I have a feeling that there's a story behind like all five of these couples, and it turns out I'm on the second like spin-off series when I should have read the first one or something. So it's like those little like Easter eggs where it's like I feel like there's something more to this, and we'll either circle back to it or it's going to die out. And thank goodness that Sarah always circles back to it, because in my opinion, from what I remember, and of course this may change in videos soon to come, but there was no, as she circled back, there was nothing left unresolved. Well, I don't want to say there's nothing unresolved, but there's a storyline I wish would keep going.
Well, so she's very good about like ending a book without questions about that plot of that specific book,
Yeah,
but leaving you lingering questions for the rest of the series, if that makes sense.
that does make a lot more sense than the ramblings I was coming apart of.
No, you don't
I
ramble,
was
baby.
spewing.
Everything that comes out of your mouth is beautiful. Um, so speaking of, like I am very, very I remember feeling this way, being very, very excited for Air of Fire. But we are going to read Assassin's Blade next. And as much as I can't wait to get to Air of Fire, I am happy that we're doing Assassin's Blade next because it's also going to answer a lot of questions that will be brought up in Air of Fire and the books to come. A lot of people read them after Air of Fire, or they'll read them first. I read them last.
Hmm.
So I'm curious to see how this is like reading them third is going to change my interpretation.
I agree. I also read it last. I must not have known that it existed.
I knew that they
Um,
existed, but I was like, but I just want to get to the next book.
no, I think when I was like looking up, because I have I think I showed it to you last time, but I have like a reading journal, and part of my like keeping tracks of my like reviews and stuff, excuse me, it asks for like the publication date. So I didn't realize that Assassin's Blade like was published before other books when I was doing my
Mhm.
read. And I read Assassin's Blade after Kingdom of Ash. And it's funny because I mean you can probably relate, where it was like you're reading it and you're basically like, who the hell are these people?
Yes. And then you read Assassin's Blade and you're like, oh.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
okay.
yeah, but so that will be next, and we'll give you all our thoughts on that. I do think that we're gonna be a little quicker with Assassin's Blade
Yeah.
just because like I know me, like I'm so excited to get to Air of Fire, so I'm gonna like bust through this book. Um
Just because we know what's coming. We know
we know
who. We
we know
know who.
you know.
We know.
So, yeah, so definitely drop us any comments, any theories that you still want us to talk about, anything related to Assassin's Blade as well. Um,
Hmm.
and we'll be happy to do that.
We didn't do our fun fact today.
Oh, yes. Give us a fun fact about you, Becky.
I do not like strawberry cake. I do not like it's okay. So today we're recording this on Tuesday, February 3rd. My birthday is on Sunday, February 8th.
Oh, yeah.
It
Happy
is a
birthday.
growing tradition. My best friend growing up, her birthday is February 10th, and we would always for her birthday have strawberry cake. So I could never celebrate her birthday because I didn't like strawberry cake. So I had to mention that because her mom would always make a heart-shaped strawberry cake with strawberry frosting. And however, I do love strawberry frosting. Like I
Yeah.
love a good strawberry frosting donut. But random fun fact, I do not like strawberry cake.
Hmm.